everyone, so I'm back to possibly give you my final garden update of the year. I don't know if I'm going to carry on much longer. Just growing salad doesn't really appeal to me for the rest of the year, unless you can suggest anything else that would grow fine, that might survive some frost, then I'm all ears. And I apologise about the background. We are still knee deep in renovations, which is getting on my nerves now. Every time I have a nice backdrop, I have to move locations, and there's absolutely nowhere nice to film at the minute. This is the conservatory, and we've been doing the guttering today as well, so I've got loads to do. Anyway, I did manage to harvest loads of courgettes. My tomato plants, yes, I've got lots and lots of tomatoes, but from watching other YouTubers, a lot of people have said that their tomatoes are taking a long time to turn red. But I do have a few that have turned red. I'm going to leave them for maybe a few weeks, and I might have to pick them and just leave them on the windowsill, or put them in a drawer, or with a banana. I've heard loads of things that you can do to ripen them. So I have got 3 ripe tomatoes, and these are my first ripe tomatoes. In fact, that one did split, so I don't really want to touch that one. But this one was the first one that just dropped off, and to be honest, I've really not wanted to eat it until I ate it in front of you on camera, because I've never I have grown tomatoes before, but they were cherry tomatoes, and I think that the plants got a disease, and I did prune them a lot more this time. In fact, I don't think I've pruned them before ever. So I'm going to taste it and see what it's like. I hope it's sweet. That is quite sweet. It's not the sweetest of tomatoes. These are money-maker tomatoes. It's certainly not bitter. It's quite nice. And I would have happily put those in a chutney, but none of them are ready, and I don't really want to do a green chutney, to be honest. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Oh, and the other reason I haven't done a gardening update for so long is because I've actually been away for just over 2 weeks on holiday. It was a while back, and by the time we got back, we had to just catch up on a load of jobs. So I've been sort of keeping an eye out on my garden and harvesting some cabbages and courgettes as well. So yeah, I've kind of been a bit lazy on that front. And I'd also like to talk about some of my failures. The aubergine plants, to be honest, they did bugger all. I think the odd one has started to flower and maybe develop something, and I think I'm going to go and put those in the sun trap upstairs and hopefully sort of give them a false sense of security, thinking yes, it's still summer when it isn't. So I'm crossing my fingers something will happen. I dug up my parsnips. Well, the parsnip plant just disappeared, and I thought, what's happened to it? So I dug it up, and I got one measly parsnip. There one is. I'm not sure how that's going to be. Let's check it out. Can I pull it? Measly. It's measly. It's so measly, but it's still something I've grown. I don't think I'll be growing those again because our soil is very clay-like, and I know I wouldn't be able to grow carrots whatsoever. I was really happy with the fact that I got some chilies, and last week I did a chutney and I threw those in. This is so I don't have a spicy eye accident. That's the first time I've ever grown chilies successfully, so I was really pleased about that. I think I've got some pepper plants trying to grow, but I've got no hope for those. I think they're probably going to be as bad as the aubergine situation. And my butternut squashes. Now, I grew butternut squashes a long time ago and I had great success, and for some reason when I did grow them this year, now I did it much earlier this year, and it took ages for them to even sprout, and I think it's because I was being tied and recycled some old compost that I found, and they didn't sprout till a month or two after, and I'm worried it's quite late in the day now because I've got a feeling frost is going to get to them because they're about that big, some of them, and I don't have a great deal, and I did plant an awful lot, so I don't know what's going to happen with those. Oh, and before I went away, I did have some chives, basil and parsley plants on my windowsill, and to be safe I just chopped them all off and put them in the freezer so they didn't go off, so I could still use those. So I do have those left, and my chive plant has just blossomed yet again. Well, not blossomed, but I've got loads of chives, so I'm very pleased about that. And I went to a National Trust property, Cork Abbey, last weekend, and they were doing a clearance garden sale, and I actually bought these 2 rosemary plants for £1 each. So I have grown, I have had a plant of rosemary before in my back garden, not this house though, because this is a new one, well, 2 oars, and it grew so much and it survived the winter as well, so I want that again. I want it in my back garden so I can just snip off a bit as and when, so I'm going to plant that in a minute. I'm sorry, this is probably really incoherent and just rambly, but it's been a long time since I did a gardening vlog. I've probably planted far too many cabbages because I did manage to plant over 40, and I've still got quite a lot left, and by the time I got back from holiday there were absolutely loads of caterpillar holes, even though I'd sprayed them. It's just something you've got to be on top of all the time, and I've read that caterpillars, they reach their peak and start attacking your plants middle of August, so I think that's going to be something I'm going to try next time. Is I'm definitely going to grow them again because that's been my best plant ever, but I'm going to try and plant them maybe a month or two, well, try and grow them a month or 2 in advance instead to avoid that, and maybe grow less. But I still plan to eat absolutely every cabbage in that back garden, even if I have to cook it, then freeze it and use it later on. I'm not letting anything go to waste. I'll be doing some sort of courgette fritters this week as well, because I really want to know what they're like, because a lot of people have been telling me about them. Anyway, I'm going to go now because my phone keeps freezing on me and it's getting on my nerves. Do you like the smell of tomatoes? Maybe not. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and a huge thanks to anybody who's watched all of them or a few of them, whatever, and hopefully I'll be able to plant some more things soon when I know what to plant. Okay, thanks, bye. Bye, say bye. Bye. Not quite bye. Bye. Done. Nutter. You get my cabbages, will you? Oh yeah, it's happening. Now firstly, you'll need a very large pan, and I'm using my Kitchen Craft Gem pan because it's the biggest one I've got, and you'll need a lid for it too. Then in a large bowl, weigh out 900 grams.